Share managing Microsoft Teams MS-700 dumps to help you practice online. 1. You need to configure the environment to meet the security requirements for the R&D group. What should you do first? A. Start the Information Barrier Policy application. B. Add an identity provider. C. Create 2 information barrier segments. D. Create 1 information barrier policy. Answer: C. 2. You need to configure the environment to meet the device requirements for the Microsoft Teams phones. What should you do from the Microsoft Teams Admin Center? A. Create a configuration profile. B. Modify the Teams settings. C. Create a meeting policy. D. Create a calling policy. Answer: A. 3. You need to implement a solution to meet the Microsoft Teams requirements for the compliance department. What should you do first? A. Add all the compliance department users as members of an org-wide team. B. Add all the compliance department users to a universal security group. C. Add all the compliance department users to an Office 365 group. D. Assign the Teams Communication Support Engineer role to all the compliance department users. Answer: B. 4. Your on-premises network contains a main site and a branch site. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that uses Teams. You need to use Network Planner to identify the networking requirements between the sites. From Network Planner, you create a new network plan. What should you do next? A. Configure the network settings. B. Start a report. C. Add a network site. D. Add personas. Answer: C. 5. Your company has a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription. You enable guest access for Microsoft Teams. You need to prevent all users from downloading and opening files that contain malware by using Microsoft Teams channels. What should you do first? A. From the Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, create a Data Loss Prevention (DLP) policy. B. From the Microsoft 365 Defender portal, select Turn on Defender for Office 365 for SharePoint, OneDrive, and Microsoft Teams. C. From the Azure Active Directory Admin Center, add an identity provider. D. From the Azure Active Directory Admin Center, enable the End User Protection Baseline policy. Answer: B. 6. You have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription that uses Teams. You need to ensure that all the files in Teams channels are stored for at least 1 year after the files are deleted. What should you do? A. Create an audit retention policy. B. Enable customer lockbox. C. Create a data loss prevention (DIP) policy for Teams chat and channel messages. D. Create a retention policy for Microsoft SharePoint sites. Answer: D. 7. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that uses Microsoft Teams. You have a team named R&D_projects. You need to prevent guest users from being invited to R&D_projects. The guest users must be able to be invited to other teams. What are 2 ways to block guest access to the R&D_projects team? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note: each correct selection is worth 1 point. A. From the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, disable guest access. B. Apply a sensitivity label to the R&D_projects team. C. From the Microsoft Teams Admin Center, disable guest access. D. From Azure PowerShell, run the new Azure AD Object Settings CMDLet. E. Configure a Microsoft 365 Group Expiration Policy. Answer: B, D. 8. You have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription that uses Teams. You need to ensure that all the files in Teams channels are stored for at least 1 year after the files are deleted. What should you do? A. Create an audit retention policy. B. Enable customer lockbox. C. Create a data loss prevention (DIP) policy for Teams chat and channel messages. D. Create a retention policy for Microsoft SharePoint sites. Answer: D. 9. You have a Microsoft Office 365 subscription. You need to prevent guest users from deleting channels from a Microsoft Teams team. What should you use? A. The Microsoft 365 Admin Center. B. The Azure Portal. C. The Microsoft Teams Client. D. The Security and Compliance Admin Center. Answer: C. 10. Your company has a Microsoft 365 subscription. You need to prevent only users in the company's research department from deleting chat messages. What should you do first from the Microsoft Teams Admin Center? A. Configure the meeting settings. B. Create a new messaging policy. C. Modify the global messaging policy. D. Create a new meeting policy. Answer: B.